What happens when determination, rivalry, and skill meet on the tournament floor? For decades, these films have shown fighters stepping into the ring not just to win, but to prove who they are. From personal redemption to national pride, every match carries a story, and every fighter has something to lose. Let's count down 10 martial arts tournament movies that turned competition into unforgettable cinema. At number 10 is Tekken, directed by Dwight Little and based on Namco's iconic fighting game series. The film is set in a dystopian future where the Tekken Corporation controls the world through power and fear. The story follows Jin Kazama, a street fighter who enters the tournament seeking justice after his mother's death at the hands of the corporation. As he fights his way through the ranks, every battle brings him closer to the truth behind his family's past and the empire that destroyed it. Originally announced by Namco in 2002, the project didn't enter production until 2007. Real fighters like Lateef Crowder, Kung Lee, Roger Huerta, and Gary Daniels were cast to ensure the action felt authentic and intense. Blending futuristic style with gritty tournament action, Tekken delivered a grounded and physical interpretation of one of gaming's most famous franchises. At number 9 is Dead or Alive, directed by Corey Ewan and based on the popular fighting game franchise from Team Ninja and Tecmo. The film brings together a group of martial artists and fighters from around the world, each invited to a mysterious tournament held on a secluded high-tech island. With $10 million at stake, alliances are formed and rivalries tested as the combatants uncover the secrets behind the competition. With a production budget of $30 million, the film combined fast-paced choreography, vivid visuals, and a high-energy score by Junkie XL to capture the colorful, over-the-top world of its source material. Though stylized and lighthearted, the movie remains notable for showcasing director Corey Ewan's signature blend of martial arts precision and playful spectacle, turning the fighting tournament into pure cinematic fun. At number 8 is Warrior, directed by Gavin O'Connor and starring Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton. The film follows two estranged brothers whose lives intersect through a major mixed martial arts tournament where personal struggles, redemption, and family conflict collide. Shot across Pittsburgh and Atlantic City, production used Mogul Mine Studios, the University of Pittsburgh's Peterson Events Center, and Boardwalk Hall for its main fight sequences. Hardy underwent intense preparation, gaining 28 pounds of muscle to convincingly portray his role. Blending realism with emotional depth, Warrior delivers powerful performances and visceral fight scenes, transforming the tournament format into a story about endurance, forgiveness, and the strength to begin again. At number 7 is Sidekicks, a martial arts adventure that blends imagination, inspiration, and competition. Directed by Aaron Norris, the film stars Jonathan Brandis as Barry, a shy, asthmatic teenager who escapes his daily struggles through vivid daydreams of fighting alongside his hero, Chuck Norris. When Barry's fantasies push him to learn real martial arts, his new discipline leads him to a state karate tournament where fiction and reality finally meet. Filmed primarily in Houston, Texas, Sidekicks was financed by local businessman Jim Mackingvale, who invested $16 million in partnership with Chuck Norris. Though it never aimed for the hard-edged tone of other action films, Sidekicks resonated with young audiences for its sincerity. It turned the idea of a martial arts tournament into something more, a lesson about overcoming fear, believing in yourself, and finding real strength beyond fantasy. At number 6 is Mortal Kombat, Paul W.S. Anderson's big screen adaptation of the hit video game series that turned virtual fights into a cinematic showdown for Earth's fate. The story follows a group of chosen warriors, Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, and Johnny Cage, who must compete in the Mortal Kombat tournament to prevent the forces of Outworld from conquering humanity. Led by the wise Lord Raiden and facing the sinister sorcerer Shang Tsung, each fight becomes a battle between destiny and annihilation. Robin Shou, who played Liu Kang, brought real Hong Kong stunt experience to the production. Given creative freedom by fight choreographer Pat Johnson, he introduced wire work and Hong Kong-style rhythm to the choreography. Supported by its pulsing electronic soundtrack and practical effects, the movie became a defining martial arts fantasy of the 90s and a rare video game adaptation that found both box office success and cult devotion. At number 5 is Undisputed 3, directed by Isaac Florentine and starring Scott Adkins in one of his most celebrated roles. The story picks up after Undisputed 2, following Yuri Boyka, a once feared fighter now serving time in a Russian prison and struggling to rebuild himself after a devastating knee injury. When he learns about an inter-prison fighting tournament that promises early release to the winner, Boyka begins training to earn a second chance at life. Florentine's precise direction and Adkins' commitment to physical performance helped elevate Undisputed 3 far beyond its direct-to-video roots. Its choreography, speed, and raw intensity made it a benchmark for modern tournament films and solidified Boyka as one of the most iconic martial arts characters of the 2000s. At number 4 is The Karate Kid, a martial arts drama that became a generational touchstone. The film follows a New Jersey teenager who moves to Los Angeles and becomes the target of karate-trained bullies. Guided by his wise mentor, he learns that karate is not about aggression, but about balance, respect, and control. The fight choreography, crafted by Pat Johnson, who also appears as the tournament referee, adds authenticity to every match. Filmed between October and December 1983, The Karate Kid combined relatable emotion with authentic martial arts detail. At number 3 is Bloodsport, the film that launched Van Damme into international stardom. Directed by Newt Arnold, this American-Hong Kong co-production follows U.S. Army Captain Frank Dukes, who enters an underground full-contact martial arts tournament in Hong Kong. Filmed entirely on location, Bloodsport showcased Van Damme's athleticism, charisma, and martial arts skills. Producer Mark DeSalle described him as an American hero who fights for justice the American way and kicks the stuffing out of the bad guys. With its mix of good choreography, stylized slow motion, and memorable opponents, including Bolo Yeung's Chong Li, the movie became an instant cult hit. It captured the spirit of 1980s martial arts cinema and set the standard for countless tournament films that followed. At number 2 is Enter the Dragon, the film that turned Bruce Lee into a global legend and forever changed martial arts cinema. Directed by Robert Klaus and written by Michael Allen, it follows Lee, a martial artist recruited by British intelligence to infiltrate a private island tournament run by crime lord Han, a former student of the Shaolin Temple now involved in drug trafficking and human exploitation. Shot entirely on location, the film was produced as an American-Hong Kong co-production, with sound added later in post-production according to local filmmaking practices. Enter the Dragon premiered in Los Angeles on August 19, 1973, just 1 month after Bruce Lee's untimely death at the age of 32. Praised for its tight direction, exotic setting, and Lee's unmatched physicality, Enter the Dragon became one of the most influential action films of all time. At number 1 is Best of the Best, a film that brought raw emotion and humanity to the martial arts tournament format. The film follows the members of the U.S. national karate team competing against Korea. Philip Reed drew heavily from his own martial arts background, making the film deeply personal. During rehearsals, Simon Reese suffered a painful on-set accident when a prop baseball bat snapped in half and struck him, but he continued performing, embodying the movie's spirit of dedication. Simon also introduced what would later become known as the Superman Punch, one of the first times it appeared on film, a move later copied by fighters and filmmakers alike. With its emotional core and authentic fight choreography, Best of the Best transcended the genre. It wasn't about revenge or glory, but about heart, redemption, and respect, the true spirit of martial arts competition. From quiet discipline to raw determination, these films turned martial arts tournaments into something greater than sport. They showed that victory isn't just about defeating an opponent, but conquering fear, ego, and doubt. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.